Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today we are talking about a severe weather threat the next few days. Not that big of a risk, but there still will be a risk of severe weather the next few days. So, we're gonna look at today's threat. We have an area here, over here into, in North Carolina, in Virginia, of a severe weather marginal risk there today. Then we have another risk for Georgia, Florida, maybe a little bit of Alabama. Then we have another risk in Texas mainly, maybe a little bit of Oklahoma, but mainly Texas. Another one up here into Montana, maybe including Idaho, but yeah, a little bit of Idaho and a little bit of Wyoming. But then our main area we're watching that's continuing right now is this area right here where we have severe weather going on at this moment. So let's look at radar real quick before we look at anything else. And we see a band of thunderstorms that formed in Nebraska yesterday, in this area yesterday, that moved into the Kansas City area, moved out, and has had a history of at least one tornado warning near Kansas City last night, and there could have been some this morning. There was some severe thunderstorm watches for Kansas City last night for this storm over here, but they do not have any out at the moment. But they have said a severe thunderstorm watch is unlikely. Actually, I'm going to show you what I mean. According to the Storm Prediction Center, mesocyclone discussion, locally damaging wind gusts, particular with storm mergers. So for this area, we're going to watch a watch unlikely for the area for these storms I'm showing you right now. So we're going to watch that very closely today. There could be maybe a tornado warning or two, but mainly it's going to be damaging winds. I think the main threat today, that line of storm moving through. Just be careful if you're in that area, because there is a risk of severe weather. So let's look at our day 2 outlook now. Wait, let me actually get pulled up. Let me move that to my other screen. So here is our day 2 outlook, where we have a marginal risk coming from Kansas all the way down here to Florida, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, and all the way up to Oklahoma and Kansas, where we have a marginal risk tomorrow. Then we have another one from Maine, New York probably, Vermont, New Hampshire, I think. It's really hard to see with the counties on. Then we have another area for North and South Dakota, and I think even including parts of Montana a little bit, and Wyoming a little bit. The area we're going to really have to watch the most will probably be this area, but it's really hard to tell what area to watch the most. Real quick, I want to go back to day 1 outlook because I totally forgot to look at the risks. So this is our wind risk in this area, this area here, that area there, and that area here. Then our hail threat. Our hail threat does not include these areas, does not include those areas, but it does include this area right here, this area over here, this area over here. So and there's no tornado risk today. So now let's get back to our day 2 outlook. We have no tornado risk, wind threat in the area that I'm watching the most, here in this area. Then we have a wind risk up here and a wind risk up there too. And then our hail risk, basically in the same areas here, up here, and up here. So, yeah, that's what we're seeing right now. So now let's look at day 3 outlook. We cannot look at hail, wind, and tornado threat, but we can look at it. There's a big marginal risk area, so I wouldn't be surprised if there could maybe be a possible slight risk. I'm not going to rule that out. There could be a possible slight risk depending if the ingredients are favorable for this day. 5% in the area. So the area and the marginal risk I'm going to actually say in just a minute. I'm going to take the counties off so I can say them. We're going, so North Dakota, South Dakota, Nebraska, Wyoming, Idaho, and Montana is in this marginal risk. In Idaho, if I didn't say that, in the risk of a marginal risk, but this can always change 3 days. That's a little far out, so yeah. So now let's look at our threat of severe weather, or our future radar. We're seeing some storms in this area. Not much going on at the moment. Actually, it's showing the storms aren't even in this area, but there is some storms in that area. So don't let this future radar fool you. Then we see some storms develop into Kansas and Oklahoma. Some storms here, and some storms over here into Texas. So we're going to watch that very closely. Then we're going to continue to get thunderstorms in this area down here in that other marginal risk area, and some storms in Texas still. And then it's going to continue. These storms are going to move more northeast. It's going to move northeast. Those storms there, and these storms, and these storms. The ones in Mississippi and Alabama shows that they're going to get weak, pretty weak. And these storms will still continue into Missouri, and still a few thunderstorms in Texas still. And then it's gonna develop. Then the next day we have another risk for severe weather in this area here. So we're gonna have to watch the next few days for severe weather. Not too big of a risk, but there still will be a risk of severe weather. We're going to look at different future radars. We're going to look at a different one, showing some thunderstorms in Missouri, some thunderstorms in Mississippi, Alabama. This may have been the one that was this morning. It shows that it's going to continue. It continues. This is about like a few hours ago. This is about now. This is what it's looking like at the moment. It shows some storms could be down here. Maybe some little thunderstorms developing down there. Then we're going to see as those storms will continue to move into now Mississippi and Alabama through later tonight. Some thunderstorms will develop in Texas. Nothing in the area where they have that marginal risk here, at least that's showing at this moment. And then we see some storms start to develop in this area during the time there. And these could be pretty strong in this area. This is probably around later tonight, maybe tomorrow. I cannot say for sure. Probably more tomorrow though. And then we see some storms in this area either tomorrow or tomorrow night, where these storms could be severe. So that's what we're seeing in that area. So let's look at one other model. We'll look at it in just a second. Let me get it pulled up. We're going to go to look at. Let me get it pulled up. We're going to use Cod Meteorology. That's what I'm going to use. We're going to look at a different model of what's saying it's going to do today. Shows that storms are going to develop in for these areas. and it shows some thunderstorms in this area too. I don't know what that is. Then we're going to. This is saying the storm will develop and move toward Missouri, and there are some thunderstorms down here. Maybe some little thunderstorms in that area too. And then we're gonna see storms continue in this area, and then we're gonna continue to see thunderstorms the next day too. This area here. So we're gonna continue to watch this threat of severe weather today, tomorrow, in the next day for possible severe weather. Actually, let's look at the Cape and Shear, and we see there is pretty high Cape in this area here, and there also is quite a bit of Cape in the area where the thunderstorms are right now. So we see enough Cape for thunderstorms, or food for thunderstorms, you can call them. We continue to see pretty strong Cape in this area, and this is really high, so that means most likely there could be storms that develop in this area here. Then it's supposed to, there's still pretty good Cape in this area, but and then we see some Cape, and the biggest Cape will be up in this area where they're expecting storms tonight, possibly, where they could be strong at times, and then the Cape just starts. Still, that's pretty high Cape, but not as big of Cape though. And then the Cape comes back the next day in this area, so we're gonna see some pretty strong thunderstorms maybe in that area. And then we continue to see that these storms, not as high of Cape then it strengthens again, and then there's not as good of Cape at this time of this. So let's look at the supercell composite, and we see, at least at the moment, as showing, some high supercell composite in this area, not that high, but still showing some supercell composite, some yellows even. That means a little higher. Still, it's showing supercell composite. Possibly that means there could be some supercell that could develop, and there's still some supercell that can develop. Still a lot more yellows and all that in this area. So then we also see a tiny bit, if you see here, of orange. That is really high. If you look at the scale down here, it's right down here. See the scale of supercell composite, and it's anywhere from 4 to 7 chance of supercells in that area, 2 to 4 in the yellow area, and then 0.5 to 1, or actually 0.5 to 2 in the green areas. So we're going to see supercell composite, then it'll fizzle out tonight, and then we see a little high tomorrow too for the areas with some yellow in there too. So we're going to continue to see severe weather. Let's look at our significant tornado index, and wait a minute, it's not that high right now. The biggest risk will be in this area if there was any significant tornado, but it's not too high. Doesn't look too high in that area, but probably our biggest risk will be wind today. That'll probably be the biggest risk. So I just want to look at one other thing, another look at future radar in this area too, in a different model. And this one is showing the thunderstorms that is in this area today, right now, to continue. Then we see not much going on in this area though after that. So yeah, we're seeing nothing though, as it's showing right now, nothing in this area though for tonight. So we just have to see what happens tonight, and we'll continue to monitor and watch the threat of severe weather possibly continue. Hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Sorry about the long video, 15-minute video, I guess. I am sorry for that long video, but I wanted to let you all know about this severe weather threat today. We're going to continue to watch this. Not too big of a risk, but there still will be a risk also today. So, also I want to look at actually one more thing, the Hurricane Center. We see only one place for possible development in this area. There's a 1 in 10% chance for tropical development in this area, so we're going to have to watch that area very closely for some tropical development. But right now we're not seeing much. I will let you know of any tropical development. I will let you know about the severe weather and all that. If there's anything major going on, if there's a hurricane possibly that develops, that probably will not develop. It will not develop. There won't be a hurricane, at least until a little while. But I'm just wanting to let you guys know about this one storm. But if there was a hurricane or something, I will update you. But thank you everyone for watching though. I just wanted to give you an update on our severe weather and our possible hurricane possibility. The one area though is this area that we're going to watch very closely. We're going to watch that very closely because there's a 1 in 10 chance still at the possibility of development. But that's not too big a risk because 10% out of 100 is pretty low, but there's still going to be a chance if it's 10%. Thank you all for watching, and see you guys in the next video.